Hello, everyone, and welcome back to NFL Playoff Pick'em. I'm your host, Jake Biggie Mills, and I'm here with Mr. JD John Downey from JD's Empire Sports Talk and EJ, former Pick'em champion. I see he's got to flex that from 3 years ago now. There he is, EJ Niepienzer. Guys, how we doing?
Hello, folks.
Doing well.
Love to be here. What a happy day on earth it is.
It's a great day. It's a great day.
Every day, but especially for each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We obviously pre-record the show. This is being recorded on arguably the greatest day in Pennsylvania professional football history. A lot happened on Tuesday. You're seeing this Friday. A lot happened on Tuesday. But we'll get into the results of the pick'em and our current standings. Then we can talk about so EJ, you could talk about your glorious events. But we're gonna get right into the standings. I'm undefeated, boys. Got it right. All of them.
just like Syracuse football, it won't last very long.
All right. Personal jab. This is an NFL show. I don't know why.
Minute and 22 seconds in, and we already have shots fired. That's great.
Yeah, they live rent free in your head.
I'll play nice.
We have a tie at second between JBC and Isaiah. We have a three-way tie for third between J-Man, JD, and Zach. And then EJ's in fourth, and Jake Jones is the only one with a losing record at 2-4. We're going to have a look at those results. So I went perfect on the weekend. I'm a perfect 6-0. Got all the games right, as you can see. And then we'll go with JBC, who was 5-1. The only one he was off on was the Packers beating the Bears. Then Isaiah, 5-1. Only one he got wrong was the Steelers over the Texans. With the J-Man, the only ones he missed out on were the Jags over the Bills and the Steelers over the Houston Texans. JD, you went 4 for 2. Only 2 you got wrong there were the Packers, Bears, and the Eagles winning. If you want to talk about it, since you're on here, you can talk about it a little bit if you want.
Yeah, should have been 5-1. The Eagles game, I get it. But Packers, terrible clock management by Matt LaFleur. I'm a big fan of his, which I know a lot of people aren't anymore, but should have won that game. Let the Bears stay alive, and unfortunately, they lost. But I should be 5-1. But I'll take 4-2. Listen, that's a good record, right?
Yeah. And then we'll go to Zach. The only 2 he missed on were the Jags and the Bills. Jags beating the Bills and the Eagles beating the 49ers. And EJ, you went 3-3. Your 3 misses were Packers over the Bears, Jags over the Bills, and the Steelers over the Texans. You said it's part of the show where you throw away a pick. Talk about your picks from the week.
Yeah, you know what? Not a good look for the home crowd. If I wanted to be like Mike Tomlin, I could just say, obviously, we did not make the splash plays and win the weighty downs. And if your aunt had male parts, she'd be your uncle, and this and that and the other thing. But just got to get better. No excuse for that. I literally talk sports professionally for a job, so this is not a good look for the home crowd.
Yep. And then, I think it's better than Jake Jones. I mean, he took his team. He was being a little homer, but everyone was on that game. Let's be honest.
That's not going to take a man while he's down.
I agree.
Right now, I feel for a man.
Yeah. Yeah, but he missed out on that one. The Eagles, the Jaguars, and then the Chargers over the Patriots. That was one that he was the only one that had that game, and that cost him. But
he must have hit his head before he picked that one.
Yeah, yeah, right. But yeah. So that's another look at the standings there, and but like we were saying before we get into the picks, great week. In a great day for Pennsylvania football. EJ, I'll let you start talking. I just want you to talk about it briefly so we can get right into the picks. But let's hear what you have to say about your Steelers with their big move.
It's a great day, Jake and JD. Do you want to know why? Because I'm throwing a party. Why am I throwing a party? Yay! Because Mike Tomlin is gone. Oh, I got confetti all over my food. That's okay. Hey, guess what, folks? You'll never have to deal with mediocrity in Pittsburgh as long as you live. You want to know why? Because Mike Tomlin's going to go to CBS. He stepped down on his own yesterday, and that, oh my goodness, that's terrifying, is so worth partying. It's the $6 that I just spent on this all day. That's more confetti in my food. Bye, Mike Tomlin. Thank you for the Super Bowl. But after 2016, boy, were you hot mega buns, man. So that's all I can say. Hey, guess what? I got my wish.
I love it. I love it.
Best day ever. There's so
Yeah,
much
and
confetti in
also-
my food right now.
Yeah, well, I talk a little bit about my team's decision. You can pick out the confetti out of the food, out of your cheesy bread. But Kevin Patullo, goodbye. Thank God. Get out of town. Never step foot in the city of Philadelphia ever again. You literally called one of the worst seasons of football I've ever seen. Mismanaged every single player on that roster. You should have been fired after the Bears game. Good riddance, my guy. Good riddance. Never step foot in Philadelphia ever again. But you probably will because you'll be on staff as like a consultant or an admin this upcoming year. But that's besides the point, and who cares? He's not calling plays anymore. Yeah, great day for both of us.
Question.
Yeah.
Because I know you're going to ask the same question to me. Who do you want to fill the OC spot for the Eagles?
I'll say it quickly and I'll say it fast. Mike McDaniel. There we go. Okay.
I want Clint Kubiak.
All right, there we go.
For
So I was going to
Seattle.
ask you, who do you want as the head coach? There it is. There's the answer.
Yeah. Clint Kubiak. Seattle.
All right. Well, now that that's out of the way, let's get into the actual reason we do this show, the picks. So we're going to start with our off-screen partners in this. We're start with the J-Man, Mr. J-Man, Jared Samuel. There he is. Bills over the Broncos, Seahawks over the 49ers, Texans over the Patriots, and the Bears over the Rams. So Jake Jones next. He needs a big week here. Bills over the Broncos, Seahawks over the 49ers, Texans over the Patriots, and the Rams over the Bears. Then we'll go to Zach. Bills over the Broncos, 49ers over the Seahawks, which I think is a crazy one, but that's a a little disparity. I like it. We need that. Patriots over the Texans and the Rams over the Bears. Then we'll go to JBC, who had himself a pretty good week. Let's see if we keep going. Bills over the Broncos, Seahawks over the 49ers, Patriots over the Texans, and the Rams over the Bears. Then Isaiah, we'll go with the Broncos over Bills, Patriots over Texans, Seahawks over 49ers, and the Rams over the Bears. So, yeah, those are our picks from our off-screen people. Now, let's get into our picks from our on-screen people. So we're going to start with our 2 Saturday games. Love Saturday football. I don't know about you guys, but I love Saturday football. It's such a shame that it's going to be the last week of it probably. But that's, that's just how it rolls. So we're going to start off with our first game of the divisional round. It is the AFC divisional round between the Bills and the Broncos. Let JD go first. Go ahead. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go with the Bills. Everyone knows I'm not a Bills guy, but I just feel that the Josh Allen, this is his postseason. Who has he lost to? We talked about this last week. Every postseason, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes isn't there, and once again, he will not be there this week. And if they win this week, he will not be there next week. So I think the Bills are going to win once again. They kind of won the game the way I expected them to against Jacksonville, and that formula, what they did, will probably work again against Denver because they're kind of similar in terms of Denver has a better defense, but they both play very fast, aggressive, physical. I mean, they sent Josh Allen to the 10 3 times, didn't matter. Josh Allen still came out, and I think he knows inside, like he won't probably admit this, but he knows on his inside, like I have to get to the Super Bowl this year because if I don't get there this year, Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes will be in the postseason next year. I'm sure they will. And to talk about Denver, I just think that their defense is great. They have great pieces there, but I just don't know if Bo Nix can get it done in the postseason.
Uh-oh. Froze. He's frozen. Oh no.
I'm back.
There you are.
Connection's not the best here, but I was talking about Denver. I was like, I don't know if Bo Nix can do it. He has the weapons, he has all that, but up to him, I don't know if he can do it. And I'm gonna go Buffalo here. And I saw, what was it? We only had one guy so far that picked Denver, so hopefully doesn't mean doomsday. Because usually when the majority goes with one team, usually the other team wins, but we have to hope not. Buffalo.
That's Isaiah there with that pick for the Broncos. Everyone else picked the Bills, but all right. So, EJ, you're up next. What you got?
Well, you know what? I was back and forth on this one just after seeing Buffalo beat Jacksonville in the fashion and in the manner that they did. I was not fully expecting, because I know I've changed myself back and forth, that game to unfold the way it did. I had a feeling maybe the Bills might win. I wouldn't have been surprised, and I obviously was not. But I will tell you, the play up in Denver, it's a completely different atmosphere. Now, Denver, 1 seed, obviously for a reason, right? 14 wins, really hard to do in the NFL just in general. So I think that's important. I understand why my brother took the Broncos. I understand 100%, 10% why he took the Broncos. So I'm going to let him do that. I just can't bet against Josh Allen for right now. Josh Allen is playing as good a football as JD looks in those glasses, which love them. Again, they're so cool. And Josh Allen plays fantastic football, and he's played it in the playoffs. He doesn't have to deal with Mahomes. He doesn't have to deal with Burrow, just like JD said. This has got to be the year, right? Give me the Bills. I won't be surprised if we win either way, but give me the Bills, man.
Yes, and right into me here. Talk about this one. Me and JD talked about it on our show this week. I talked about it. We had a little bit of a debate on it. I'm going to go a little more in depth here on Pick'em. I think the Buffalo Bills, they're going to win this game. I'm taking the Bills. They have the easiest path to win the Super Bowl, and I'll tell you why right now. This game here is why. I'm only going to talk about this game. We're not going to go any more farther just because of the show's format. You know, I don't want to pick next week, but I'm just going to say right now they have the easiest path, in my opinion. And the reason for that being is this first game right here. I think the Bills, I know the game against Jacksonville was very good this year. Not saying Jacksonville was bad. And, you know, you guys made some really good points, like JD, your point of him being in and out of the tent and still playing like that. And, you know, I can see why your brother would pick the Broncos. I do. But I just think that offense for the Broncos, it hasn't proven enough to me yet. And I just think their defense has carried them through the season. And granted, great team. I think Bo Nix has played well. That's a good offense, but it's not a playoff level offense, I don't think. I just think the Bills are way more experienced, and Josh Allen in the playoffs is different, and there's no Mahomes, no Joe Burrow, no Lamar Jackson. It's their time. I mean, that's what we've been saying for the last week. This is the perfect opportunity, and I think they have the easiest path to do it, and I think it starts at Mile High, upsetting the number 1 seed Denver Broncos. The defense can only do so much. We have to see more out of that offense from the Broncos. And, you know, the defense could go in there and shut them down. I said the same thing last week. You know, they're going to stop James Cook, and it's going to rely on Josh Allen to, you know, fling the football around he proved that he could do it. So after seeing them, you know, I'm way more confident in them this week than I was last week, just because of that fact, because of, you know, I thought that, you know, Jacksonville was going to get to James Cook, and then it would force Josh Allen to really throw. And he, you know, during the regular season, he hasn't done that. But playoff Josh Allen is different. We saw it. We saw it right there against Jacksonville. And I think I'm way more confident in them this week. Give me the Bills.
Yes, and you know what? I want to throw one extra thing in.
Yeah.
The Broncos at home. Now, keep in mind, and when it comes to betting, the Broncos being the home team should automatically get 3 points in their favor. They are only favored by 1.5. That's what this and that's the spread. They are favored. They are only minus 1.5. So just keep that in mind, folks. And if you're not a betting person, I apologize for this next analogy, but that's very, very telling. That tells me that with that, even with those 3 points they automatically get for being at home, that the Bills are packing. And if Vegas knows the Bills are packing and they're giving them that, I think we're in for fireworks. I'm just saying.
I agree, especially at a home environment like Mile High. It's a tough place to play, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think that's all valid points from all of us there. All right, so then we're going to go into our first game of the NFC divisional round. It's the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. EJ, you can go first on this one. Let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah, you know, San Francisco played a pretty solid game. Philly didn't play a great, at least second half, I saw. But San Francisco played a solid game. I got to give them credit as well. And I think Biggie would agree. San Francisco played a pretty good game, going in a hostile environment, getting it done. But to lose George Kittle, to deal with all of these injuries, it's just not feasible. After a while, you can't really do that. Seattle is no joke. I mean, great play from Sam Darnold, although you question, it is Sam Darnold. How long can this go on? But again, they're the 1 seed for a reason. They're at home. They're at the home of the 12th man against an injured Niners team who got even more beat up against the fighting Philadelphia Eagles, which get bullied by playing anytime, let alone the playoffs. So I just have a reason to believe Seattle is favored by 7.5 in this game. But even then, I still think whether they were favored or not, they're home. I'm not taking anybody else in Seattle. That place is going to be packed. It's going to be loud. And the Niners, with the injuries. I just can't do it. So give me the Seahawks. Give me the Seahawks by 10.
All right. JD?
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks as well, which if this was a few weeks ago when the 49ers were a little more healthy, I would say 49ers. But at this point, I know they got a great win on the road. They beat Philly, whatever. But they don't just have enough healthy bodies at this point. And it's funny because they played each other twice in the regular season, and both teams beat each other at their own places. But I don't think that's happening this time. I think Seattle is going to do just enough. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with Sam Darnold. I actually think it's going to be Seattle's defense that wins them the game. And Sam Darnold's going to, get his first playoff win. That won't have to really do much with him. He'll just be there for it. I didn't want to pick Seattle because I actually didn't think Seattle would do anything in the postseason, but just because of the circumstances, I'm going to go with Seattle. I don't think they're going to win as much as Aegis putting out there. 10 points. I didn't even know they were favored by over 7. I didn't know that.
No, neither did I.
That's crazy, but because a divisional game in the playoffs too, which is crazy. But it just shows that they know the San Fran is all banged up. Doesn't matter. You have Brock Purdy, you have Christian McCaffrey, but the rest of that team is just bare bones at this point, especially
the defense.
Yeah, especially on defense. Robert Saleh is doing a terrific job, but it only gets you so far. But I don't even think that. I think just Seattle's defense is going to do great, and it might be a kicking game. Honestly, I think Jason Myers would have the edge there. He can hit longer kicks than Eddie Pinheiro. So I've seen both of those guys kick for the Jets before. So I know Jason Myers might nail a little 59, 60 yarder at the end of the game to win it. That's how I think it's going to go. I don't know the weather there. I know we haven't brought up any weather yet, which we were big into the weather. But
I just think that's a stadium you don't really consider weather a factor. I don't think.
It depends. It depends.
It does depend,
it rains. Seattle, it's tricky with the rain. So
it rains 5 out of 7 days up there.
Yeah, they don't see the sun there.
Like 6 or 7 days. But yeah. I'm going to take the Seahawks just based on the fact of, I agree with you, what you just said, JD. I wasn't high on Seattle coming into this. I thought just because of the pedigree Sam Darnold has, especially what happened with the Vikings last year, kind of the same deal. I thought it would be the same thing, but I just think this is a perfect scenario for Sam Darnold to win a playoff game. You go against the beat-up 49ers squad. Obviously you still have Purdy and Christian McCaffrey, but you lost George Kittle. That's huge. But don't be surprised if Kyle Juszczyk goes off again. But he's going to be that top weapon, to be honest with you. I'm going to take Seattle. I just think it's just the circumstances at hand. I would say just Sam Darnold, this is a good opportunity for him to really go. And I think I kind of disagree with your point, JD, about the defense. I think it's going to be more of an offensive game for Seattle. I think because the 49ers, even though they're banged up, they could still make some plays. I mean, we saw it against Philly. They definitely could. But because Philly's not a terrible defense, but, still not crazy.
Yeah, the one other point I wanted to make was Seattle got the best of the potential matchups they could have gotten from Wild Card Weekend. If the Eagles won, I believe the Rams are going to go there, which I think I don't want to spoil my pick, but that could be a potential matchup.
Would be awesome
after that. But I think that's huge that Seattle got San Francisco this week, just based off who they could have played. Green Bay could have presented, I think, a little more of a challenge than a banged up San Francisco team.
Yeah, and that's no knock to the 49ers because they're a great team. It's just they just have all these injuries, and especially on defense, man. I mean, they're down to their 7th-string linebacker. They have no Fred Warner and no Bosa, so it's tough, And like I said, you're good there.
Yeah, I hit myself in the eye.
Yeah, all right.
I'm good.
Okay, all right, Jackson Dart. But yeah. So I just think the only point I disagree with is I think it's the Seattle offense is going to be flying around. I just think Sam Darnold has a lot of weapons to work with. Jackson Smith, Najigba. I mean,
incredible,
great receiver. I mean, they got guys. They really do. They can do it. But again, I think the big thing is just the 49ers are too banged up. That's what it is. So yeah, definitely taking the Seahawks. I think we're all in agreement on that. All right, now we move on to Sunday. Texans and Patriots to start off our Sunday at 3 AFC divisional round. We're just going to go back and forth between you two. JD, you start again here. What you got?
I'm going to go with Houston. I know how I just said the Seahawks got the best matchup possible. I think the Patriots got the worst matchup they could have gotten for this week, which obviously they're a 2 seed, so it's a little different. You can't get the lowest seed in whoever's left. But Houston, very dangerous. I don't what was it? They haven't lost since like October at this point.
Yeah.
They're just extremely hot. CJ Stroud's not going to have a bad game like that again. He's not going to have a bad game like that again. He could not hold on to the football last night, and it did not matter. But if he does that again, they will get spanked. So I'm banking on him being clean, not having any turnovers. And Drake May's going to make a couple of mistakes. It may not be turnovers, but it may be things that set the Patriots back a little bit, where Houston could take advantage of it. Anything, if you're behind the sticks against Houston, even if you're not, but if you're behind the sticks against Houston, that just sends their pass rush. I mean, they got like 6 to 8 guys. Literally, I said this to Biggie, that they have 4 guys. They rotate them out. They bring another 4 in. It does not matter. They're all getting to the quarterback, And I know they dominate Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers can't really move that well. Drake May, it doesn't matter that he's able to move around in the pocket. And it does not matter against this defense. Houston's made everyone this year look like they're elementary offenses, like Little League, Pee Wee football offenses. Every single team they've done that to. So it doesn't matter. Like Houston is able to do that to anyone. And I don't know. I feel like even if Houston was playing, throw another team out there, whoever they're playing this week, they're going to win this week. I just feel that way about them. And that defense, man, is great. And I think the offense is actually going to make a few plays. I mean, last night, they scored. There was 2 defensive touchdowns. So they scored 16 points, whatever it was. I think it was 16 points on offense. I think they could do that and a little more, and that should be enough against New England.
All right. Ish.
You know what? I'm looking up right now. I'm looking up to see, because we're getting a snowstorm here over the weekend, and I think it's going to hit New England on Sunday afternoon. And if they're getting what we're getting, going to make a little bit of an interesting take here. So I'm checking that right now. But here are my other thoughts while I look this up. See, the fact of the matter is, New England has the home advantage for this game for a reason. They're the 2 seed, 15 freaking wins. Like I said previously, that just doesn't happen in the NFL unless you're like worth it. And I want to say first and foremost, Houston is fantastic. I mean, I saw them firsthand yesterday. They won the playoff game. We won in the long run, but they won the playoff game. That was great, by a great defensive stand. I mean, I don't think I've seen a defense do what they've done in, I don't know, probably since the 08 Steelers. I mean, seriously, I can't think of another defense that was that dominant. And that's not me being a homer. Credit to Houston.
The
Fantastic
Jets in 2010.
They're darn close too. They were pretty good, but I think they were not quite on Houston's level. What I mean to say is, like at New England is only favored by 3 points. They only have their home advantage. So this, according to Vegas, is the most split down the middle game that you could literally possibly get. Like that's it. So I say this. I say that New England and Houston's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to snow. They're going to get a couple inches of snow the day before, and it's going to be a wonderful 16 degrees in New England. I think it's going to be a little interesting.
Wow.
After all the snow, I'm looking at it right now according to AccuWeather. And I just think that might be enough for Houston to – I mean, it's going to take Mother Nature to take Houston out. I'm going to take New England by 1. New England by 1. Give me a Tyler Luke missed field goals type situation. That's what I'm thinking right now. New England by 1.
Oh, wow.
Drake May is going to get a playoff game win at home, and then they're going to lose next week, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, I think quite opposite of that. I can't put it past that Texans defense. I mean, unbelievable performance Monday night. Wow. I mean, you should, like, seriously, I think Will Anderson is one of the best defensive linemen I've seen in some time. Just unreal. They're just so good. Like, they haven't lost since October. The only issue I do see is the offense. Obviously, I think CJ Stroud has definitely not played to his full ability. We've seen better play out of him in the past years, but that defense is just so good. And that's a point here that it goes to show how good that defense really is, because even with the offensive struggles, that defense has been able to hold them in games. I mean, 2 defensive touchdowns in that game. Without that, that's a 16-6 game, or the Steelers, put up more points. You know what I mean? Because I think the big thing that they had was putting pressure on Rodgers, like we said, was going to be a problem, and they did. They sure did. But yeah, I'm taking the Texans just off that defense, and this is not a knock at the Patriots. It's just I think that experience is good. They're just inexperienced, and obviously the Houston Texans, they had a little bit of a run in DeMeco Ryans' first year, but again, just they're not as experienced either. But I just think it's the first year with Mike Vrabel and Drake May in the playoffs. Obviously the Patriots are no strangers to the playoffs, but it's just been a while, and this Patriots team is inexperienced in the playoffs. And that first half we saw from Drake May and the Patriots offense was not very good. I thought they were going to lose that game because they turned the ball over once or twice. Man, I things weren't looking good for them at the beginning of that game, to say the least. And I think you have a way better defense, arguably the best defense in the playoffs right now, arguably, besides Denver, I think. But the offense, I don't have faith in that offense, like I said earlier. But again, just that defense is just going to they're going to make those 1 or 2 turnovers. They're going to turn that into like a lot of turnovers, and they're going to turn those turnovers into points. And I just have way more faith in that Texans defense. It's strong, hasn't fallen off at all. I thought maybe we'd see a little drop off because teams like that, they after a while kind of do fall off. They haven't. They've looked just as good through the whole stretch that they've been winning. And those early scares from New England are concerning to me in why I'm not picking them. It's just the concern I see for this young Patriots team in the postseason. So give me the Texans to win. I think it will be a very good game, though. I'm excited for it. All right, so a little shorter of an episode this week, just because there's only 4 games. That's how this goes. Rams and Bears to close out the weekend. EJ, go ahead. This is for you to start. Let's get into it, confetti eater.
No, actually, now I have a horn. Anyway, hey, listen, folks. Look, there's a lot going on here. The Bears, they beat the Packers. They won a playoff game. And if you go back to last week when I said it's such a Bears thing to lose, I was merely going off of how much of a laughingstock they've been in the playoffs since then. Apparently, they're not that way this year. I was very, very wrong about the Bears. But I still don't like Caleb Williams, and I can't wait for him to lose. Anyways, Rams, finally going to play a team where they might have a couple 2-3 issues because the Bears are pretty good. Their offense got it going. I mean, chugged all the way back. I mean, they were dead in the water and chugged all the way back. That offense did not quit, so I give them credit. The problem is the Rams looked a little flat in that game against Carolina. They almost lost. Like, they had no business making it that close. They almost lost. They pulled it out. But I'm thinking now both of these teams are going to have culture shocks. They're going to run into each other and go, you are also an immovable object, and we need to figure out how to move you. And one of us is not going to be able to move the other one. I think that team is the Rams. I think the Rams are going to be the team that's going to be immovable. And here's why. I just can't go against Stafford. I think Puka Nacua has played good football. Their offense got it. If their offense continues to hum like they did in that fourth quarter of last game, it should be pretty good. It's the offense of the Bears that's another variable for me. If the Rams defense comes in and shuts them down, like they come in and they know, hey, we're good. We know you're going to like run Monangai down our throats. We're going to stop him. And now we're going to make Caleb Williams uncomfortable and have to throw the ball under pressure. Rams might win this game pretty handily, but I think actually it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to take a little bit for them to feel each other's playbooks out. And give me the Los Angeles Rams by 3.
All right. Valid. JD?
Yeah, I couldn't have agreed more with you, Eej. Rams by 3, but I'll go a little bit on a different note. I just feel like, well, first, let me talk about Stafford. Obviously, he's been great this year. I know we got a little banged up in that game against Carolina. He like hit his thumb on the helmet, which I don't know, he does that all the time, which is kind of funny to me. He's done that like numerous times in his career, but still, he's good. He played well in that game. I just think their special teams. I talked about this with talked to Biggie about this. Their special teams is not good. Their Rams, that has been reasons why they've lost a lot of these games, like they down the stretch. I mean, there was 2 games left in the season. They what was it, 2 or even 1 game left of the regular season? They fired their special teams coach. Coordinator.
Yeah, after they lost to Seattle.
Yeah, so
Lost them the game.
Yeah, exactly. They cost them that game. Like there's been other games during the year. Carolina the first time, I know it was a part of turnovers, but still that as well. The Rams, listen. The Bears, let's put it this way. Bears can't afford to start out slow, and the Rams can't afford to have special teams miscues. And I think the Bears will start out slow, which will allow the Rams to win the game. Nothing much to it. Just the Rams, they're just a great team. Bears are a good team. I was shocked they actually won the game the way they did. But they've been doing it all year, though, Chicago. They come back when it matters, but I just don't think it's going to happen this time. I think they're going to put themselves in a hole in the first half. They're not going to be able to come back from it. The Rams are going to protect the football, and they're going to win. That's it.
Really quick before you get into it, Jake, for the odds, the Rams are favored by 4.5 on the road. So if they were at home, they'd be favored by 7.5. Just keep that in mind.
Yep.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm going to take the Rams in this game. I just think, obviously we saw a little bit of sluggish play in the game against Carolina. That's a game they probably should have won by a little bit more, I think. But I said this before. It's an NFL playoff game. It's not going to be – the spread was 10.5. That wasn't happening. But for it to be a 3-point game and almost lose, I think that raises some eyebrows, but it shouldn't that much. Some factors are in at play. Obviously that was Devontae Adams' first game back after being hurt. Obviously that game, it's no different because you're playing at Soldier Field. I think that's an even more tougher environment than Bank of America Stadium. But Carolina, I think, just had, they had some momentum-ish because, they weren't great, but they, were playing with some fire. And the Rams, they didn't end the regular season too hot. I just think they needed that to kind of get going. And I think this is where they do it because we saw that the Bears weren't able to really hold on the entire time. It took them to the end to win that game. And the Packers, not saying they're bad, but, that game wasn't really lost because the Packers are a bad team. That was more of a management situation there. It wasn't really bad play per se. It was more of a management thing. So they struggled mightily. They were down 21-3 at one point. So you got to take that into consideration. Again, I know they won the game, and I know they came back, and they got some really good players. Caleb Williams playing fantastic. That run game, like I said, would take over against the Packers, which it surprisingly didn't. That wasn't the reason why they won. I think it was obviously poor management on the Packers side, and they were able to really pass the ball well. I was kind of shocked by that. So a little surprised. I thought the Packers would get to Caleb Williams a little bit and shut down some of those top receivers, and Monangai and DeAndre Swift would kind of get them into the groove of it. But that wasn't the case at all. But again, I just think the Rams have more power right now, and we know what they're capable of. I know they've had some questionable games, some losses that weren't too good. And the Carolina game was way closer than it should have been. But I just think the Bears, and again, I'm going to say it again. I just brought up a bunch of other points, but I think experience is going to play a factor as well. Caleb Williams only his second year. Ben Johnson, first year as a head coach. That's once you get deep in the playoffs, that stuff is, it's a little different than playing the regular season game. And the Rams, obviously, Matt Stafford is, he won a Super Bowl his first year in LA a few years back, if you remember. And Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams are that's one of the best receiver duos I've seen around. It might be the best in the playoff, I think. Best receiving duo, 2 of the best in the playoffs right now. So yeah, I'm taking the Rams experience, and I just think overall they have more juice right now, and I think they know how to win playoff games. The Bears just don't yet. They just don't. But that team is going to be, JD, you brought this point up last week. They're going to be good going forward, and I think within the next couple years they will be a team like that.
I was going to say the one thing with the Bears last week, they went for it a lot on 4th down. They were very aggressive. If they do that again and they don't get, they don't convert, the Rams are going to score a touchdown. Like the Packers weren't able to take advantage of that fully. The first half they were, not really second half. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel the Bears can hang with anybody. They can score with the best of them, this and that. But they have to be smart. They can't convert for the fourth. If they can't go for every fourth down, you just can't do that. Because it's a Rams team that's not going to work. You just know that. McVay and Stafford. I mean, they got like a bromance going on. So that that's
McVay's just a great coach overall.
Oh, he is. He's terrific. Terrific guy. And coach.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things where that's another point I didn't even bring up. The Bears were being very aggressive in that game, and the Packers defense. Obviously, we know huge injury Micah Parsons a few weeks ago, but the Packers defense is not great. Like they've been, Micah Parsons is a big part of their defense, like huge part of their defense. Like he's the reason why they were pretty good on defense this year. Otherwise, I don't think they're too good on defense. I think they were more of an offensive team this season, and if you do that against a better defense like the Rams have, very underrated defense the Rams have, I will say. Not everyone talks about Stafford and Nakua and Adams and those guys, but I think we got to talk about their defense too. Rams defense is very good, and those risky, those aggressive drives are not going to work against a team like the Rams.
Really, really quickly, just so we can clarify, because I know what you're trying to say. We're not saying that the Packers defense is bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that also they were decimated by injuries, as Jake said. And you've got guys like Rashawn Gary who did not show up all season. If he is one of your guys that you're paying and he's not doing anything, and they had multiple guys plus the injuries. So just to clarify that's what we're saying. We're not saying the Packers were bad in any stretch. No. We're saying that they were decimated by a lot of injuries and some guys that weren't showing up as much. Kind of similar to some of these other teams with the star players and people figure it out. That's what the Packers dealt with, just so we're clear on that.
Yeah, I would say I appreciate that bringing it up because I may have worded it a little differently, made it sound like I think the Packers have a terrible defense, which I definitely don't think they do. I just think, comparing it to a team like the Rams, it's just a little different skill-wise.
Yes.
More of a dominant defense and a team that is not going to allow all those fourth down conversions, to say the least. If they go for that again, they're not getting anywhere. But yeah, so that's it. We're gonna go through the picks one more time before we end the show and get any final remarks that the guys want to throw out. Again, I'll put the standings up here. This is the standings here after heading into our divisional round. We're gonna start off, with my picks. We're gonna go in order of the standings and of reading off the picks here. So I have the Bills beating the Broncos, the Seahawks beating the 49ers, Texans beating the Patriots, and the Rams beating the Bears. Next is JBC. He has the Bills beating the Broncos, the Seahawks beating the 49ers, the Patriots beating the Texans, and the Rams beating the Bears. Then next is Isaiah. Broncos beating the Bills, Patriots beating the Texans, Seahawks beating the 49ers, and the Rams beating the Bears. And then our three-way tie for third. Start with J-Man. And then if you guys noticed except I don't know why I messed that up, but I tried to do it ABC order. I just kind of did it in the order it was on the Google sheet. So that doesn't matter. But regardless, I was going to say the order and the ties doesn't matter at all. Just an FYI. J-Man picked Bills over the Broncos, Seahawks over the 49ers, Texans over the Patriots, Bears over the Rams. Then JD here with us tonight. Bills over the Broncos, Seahawks over 49ers, Texans over Patriots, and the Rams over the Bears. And then Zach in our other third place tie. He has the Bills beating the Broncos, the 49ers beating the Seahawks, Patriots over the Texans, the Rams over the Bears. And then EJ, you have the Bills over the Broncos, Seahawks beating the 49ers, Patriots beating the Texans, and the Rams over the Bears. And then in last place, Mr. Jake Jones, Bills over the Broncos, Seahawks over 49ers, Texans over Patriots, and the Rams over the Bears. So we'll see if those ties stay tied or we get some disparity. I mean, looking at it, some things that have to happen for one of the either JVC or Isaiah to take first place. JVC's banking on the Bills to win because everything else they have the same except that game. So that game will determine that spot. And then for our third place, looking at it now, Zach is hoping for the 49ers and J-Man, hoping for the Bears. A little disparity there. So there will be some differences there, which is good. But which is nice. That's actually really good. So our tiebreakers will most likely be broken up this week. Just based off what people pick, because there's a disparity in all of them, which is awesome. EJ, you're hoping for some better days, and Jake Jones is, needs to do a little more than just hoping for better days. 2 and 4, man, pick it up, would you?
I don't know what it is. It's just those two head coaches that can't seem to get it done. Win in the regular season, don't get it done in the playoffs. Sound familiar?
Yeah, you know a lot about that, huh?
I sure would. But there are better days ahead, folks. I should get more confetti cannons.
You have more?
I bought $16 worth of them at the dollar store. Hold on, because I'm doing my remarks last. So go ahead.
All right, yeah. So yeah, that's all we have for the picks. JD, you got anything?
No, just looking forward to another great week of playoff football. Of course, weekend, I should say. Only 4 games left. What is it? 7 games left. I'm sorry.
No.
4 games this weekend, 2 games the weekend after, and then, of course, Super Bowl. So, we're under that double-digit mark of games left. Season went quick. Should be another really good weekend, though. All these games should be very close. Wouldn't be shocked if they're all one-possession games.
Yeah.
Like the beginning of the weekend was this weekend until, the last 2 games weren't so great.
Yeah. And then Mr. Yins.
Hey, listen, folks. We're having a fun time doing this, and, it's surreal to me that playoff football is like we're already in the divisional round of playoff football.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's just nuts to me, but, for all my fans that are rooting me on to be a 2-time pick'em champion. Don't worry, boys and girls. We'll figure something out. I usually do. I just need to get on the podium, right? And my advice to all the teams that are playing: go out and be loud and unnecessarily over the top for absolutely no reason. Just like me. Go ahead.
Oh man! All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week for our AFC and NFC championship picks, and obviously we'll have a week off in between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl. You don't do anything for the Pro Bowl, so obviously this runs for 5 episodes. This is episode 2, and then we got the conference championship picks, Super Bowl picks, and the Super Bowl recap, and that ends the season. So we'll see you guys next week for our AFC and NFC championship game picks. See you guys.